welcome to the top 4 decider between the Scarborough Sharks and FutScarbs FC. My name is John Goodrich. Joining me in the commentary box tonight is Luke Ross, and we'll just go through the lineups. So for FutScarbs, it's Andre Duna wearing number 5, Daniel Barros wearing number 19, Bruno Bissan number 16, Wagner Araujo number 9, Halil Neto number 10, Leo Ferreira number 6, Fernando Rezende number 7, Kayo Oyema number 8, Alex Fizzoa number 1, Victor Armani number 20, Mateus Carvalho number 17, and Kenna Anderson wearing the number 12. And for the Scarborough Sharks, a full strength lineup this evening after a couple of weeks of player absences. Josh Chevelle returns to the side wearing number 10, alongside Brandon Ustazen, number 6, Matthew Ustazen, number 9, Miguel De Oliveira, number 11, Juga Hingraja, number 1. So all 5 players we've mentioned so far were absent from the line last week. Ethan Hardy in net wearing number 27, Asher Alson, number 23, Flynn Nolan, number 8, Daniel Bergqvist, number 25, and Halil Russo, number 26. And just to provide some context on tonight's matchup, if the Scarborough Sharks win, then they will secure a finals berth for the first time in 4 seasons. If the game ends in a draw, then Sharks will finish the better of the 2 sides, but the door will be opened up for Alliance if they defeat Phoenix later on tonight. And if the FutScarbs do win, then they will most likely take the shot in the Final 4. As Kenna Anderson dribbles onto the right boot and fires wide of the goal. Hingraja to Chevelle. Now Asher Alson. Ball through the centre. Intercepted by Anderson. Stalls the attack. Gives it to Andre Duna, who goes back to Rezende. And now it's Leonardo Ferreira looking for the one-on-one before opting to backheel to Duna. Rezende, a couple of step-overs, cutting it on the left. Ferreira, Duna, Anderson. Here's the danger man for FutScarbs and gets a shot off from an acute angle. Hingraja covering the near post. And now it's Rowson. Chevelle. Good ball down the line. De Oliveira, who currently sits equal 4th in the league Golden Boot with 8 goals, I believe. He was serving a suspension as a result of accumulating too many yellow cards last week and was sorely missed for the Scarborough Sharks in their 7-1 defeat by the Northern Hawks. It's Anderson who turns and goes onto the left. That shot blocked away by Rowson. Up the line to Rezende. Gets it back. Ferreira down the line to Duna. He's got Ferreira inside, but it's a good tackle by De Oliveira. Duna on the follow-up, and that's a foul. Both teams are already going at it. Could we see an early card come out? Tom Claver having a talk to the players involved. This game already heating up. What are your thoughts so far, Luke?
Yeah, well, thanks for that thorough introduction for everybody. I'm glad we got there in the end. Yeah, I mean, it's been a fast start. Obviously, a lot on the line for both teams. The FutScarbs wanting to get that first finals spot that they will have had as a club. And Scarborough Sharks, like you mentioned, after obviously a proud club in the league, they'll want to get back in the finals contention. Well, yeah, to winning the league. So, yeah, all to play for. Obviously, that was a bit of early feisty. What is interesting to note is the FutScarbs have actually got 3 goalkeepers on the bench. And about 9 players. There's actually 3 players too long on the bench. So they've got a lot of depth. They might try and press the Scarborough Sharks out of the game, who the last few weeks have been criticised by myself probably for the lack of depth. But they've brought the big guns out tonight. I heard Brandon Ustazen's flown back from Europe early just for this encounter. I can't confirm or deny if they're true. As we see De Oliveira taking on Rezende. Good block there from Rezende. Obviously, John's been watching live each week from Europe, and he's just been frothing to get back here. As I was saying, that Asher Rowson with a long shot deflection. So, John, how happy are you to be back at the Supa-Liga on a Friday night?
I'm really excited. I was itching to get back whilst watching from Italy, and it's been a good weekend to do so. Obviously, I missed a couple of important games, but I would have been kicking myself if I missed this weekend of matches. We've obviously got the 2 league deciding games tomorrow and the 2 top 4 deciding games this evening, so plenty to play for.
So we've got some predictions in the comments. GK Midi thinks Sharks 4-3. The real Pizza Slice, which is Nick Davidson, thinks the Sharks are going to win 3-1, and Miguel to do 985,000 step-overs. Probably 2 predictions that could very much come true. Flynn Nolan off the right. He's taken Miguel off free kick duties. We've got a side ball here. Halil Russo, the human flash. Number 26 has come on as we're saying that. Javel's given it away. That's Kenneth Anderson. Goes past Russo. Oh, it was a good save down low from Jigga Hingragia. Anderson, who's been the danger man.
Yeah, he's looking like the most likely player to strike early.
Yeah, he's been dangerous.
Causing the Sharks a lot of problems as he tosses for the ball in the corner with Russo. It's been picked up by De Oliveira. Russo on the break, but the last touch was too heavy, and FutScarbs will see it over.
Hello, Russo. It's only his 4th game of the season, and he's got no headband on, which is also probably not going to set him up for a good game. We'll see if he can prove us wrong. De Oliveira going at it there with Mateus. It's going to be a good battle as well. Obviously, De Oliveira never shies away from a tussle. Flynn Nolan, who's been outstanding this season for the Scarborough Sharks, probably the most consistent player along with De Oliveira. I don't think Nolan's missed a game. Oh, Resende's touch lets him down there. And that's probably what happens when games start to get important at the business end of the season. Russo off the left. Gives it back to Chevelle, who's been absent for a few weeks as well. So Scarborough Sharks, maybe you can see that the lack of game time for a few teams, or a few of the players, is letting them down early on. I'm sure they'll play their way into the game. And Russo gives it away, and the FutScarbs going the other way. Ferreira! Oh, I don't know how they've missed that one. That was a chip to the back post, and I don't know if anyone realised that, but Mateus definitely handballed that one on the line. So
yeah, 100%. So I think if it did go in, it may have not counted, or at least there would have been a big protest for it not to count. But you see how good FutScarbs are on the break. Russo giving the ball away a little bit cheaply, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 up the other end. It's been something that the FutScarbs have done well this season. Their half-court defence with the quick counter-attacking, particularly with the likes of Mateus Carvalho, who's been a great addition to the side this season, along with Kenneth Anderson, who did feature last season but has been playing more consistently. They've got such speed on the break, and if I'm being honest with you, Luke, they look the better side so far.
They do early on. Maybe they're made for the big occasions, the FutScarbs boys. I mean, saying that, they've actually lost. They only lost once all season and then lost their last 2 games. So if they'd won just one of those, they'd be in the driving seat for this top 4 last spot. But as it is, it came down to the last game. Russo off the left gives it away again. Hello, Russo. Resende. Russo working hard. And now the Sharks have got a 3-on-2. Ustazen's passed a little bit behind him, and they definitely didn't make the most of that one. Josh Chevelle. Right to Brandon Ustazen. It's so good to see him back. And when they left, they were unbeaten, and he's come back, and they're almost... Oh, well, they are fighting for a final spot. Considering they were fighting for the league just 3 weeks ago, it's been a bit of a downward spiral for the Scarborough Sharks the last few weeks, which is unfortunate. It was a 3-horse race for a lot of the season. Chevelle puts his foot on it. Russo, I don't think Chevelle has taken a sub yet. Russo tries to cut in on his right, gives it to Bergqvist. Neto marshalling well there. Ustazen brings it forward. Chevelle to Ustazen, and good save there from Bassan. Resende. Neto, Mateus. This game is turning end to end. Russo's going to win that. Mateus puts a tackle in it. Russo off the left. Ooh. Tom Claver definitely should not have stopped the game there. He's stopped it. I think the Scarborough Sharks thought they'd scored when Bissan just fumbled it in the goal, but it was a bit of debris on the corner. I believe a shin pad went walkabouts. Bergqvist marshalling Mateus well there. So we've got some more score predictions. Zephyr McPherson, John's favourite child, thinks the FutScarbs are going to win 3-1, and Logan Rindell thinks 5-3, but Resende's going the other way. And FutScarbs need to make one of these opportunities count. They're not going to get too many golden opportunities like they are.
Yeah, they're getting plenty of chances early on. You'd feel like once a couple of these Sharks players that haven't played for a few weeks sort of find their feet in the second half, they could very well find themselves on top. But at the moment, it looks to be all FutScarbs. Araujo, Carvalho out wide, but Halil Russo doing his defensive duties, and 10 minutes into the match, still nothing to separate these two sides. It's a side ball for FutScarbs on
We've just got
the side of the court.
a momentary break as Annie Leyland, the third official, is just fixing the goal. Tom Claver not contributing too much at this stage. Mateus Carvalho going to take the side ball. I think Neto might go for a customary toe poke here. He is known for them. There we go. Bergfist stands tall and does well there. Mateus.
And again for Neto.
There we go. You can see how good he is off the both feet with the toe pokes. He'll try 10 or so a game, and one will go in eventually.
Garage here. He scored a good one last week, I think it was.
He did.
So definitely useful shooting from those kind of areas. The toe poke can often catch keepers off guard. Is quite regular that the players don't even know where they're going to end up. Here he is again, Neto. Looks for the line. Carvalho. But put out by Ustazen as Flynn Nolan comes back on. And you mentioned earlier about Flynn Nolan being the most consistent player for the Scarborough Sharks this season. I completely agree. He's really been the only one they've been able to rely on. Don't think he's missed a game. And Bastille Oliveira has been very good also. Obviously, missing a game through suspension is out of his control, but it really was unfortunate for the Sharks last week when he was out when they needed him. So Flynn Nolan probably deserves this top 4 spot more than anyone else on the side. That ball to Carvalho, and he's air swung it. There wasn't enough contact in it for a foul. He stays in.
Yeah, Stajan marshalled him well there. Deco, good touch. Wagner Rejo, bad touch. Flynn Nolan goes the other way. Nolan wants on his right, back roll. Ustazen! He's been tackled. Flynn Nolan wanted him to finish it. Russo, Nolan skips inside. Neto having none of it. Halil wants it on his left, gives it wide to Nolan. Nolan cuts it on the right, and well blocked there by Neto. Mateus gets that one out. So we do need to keep reminding you that the FutScarbs need a result here. A draw or loss will knock them out for another season, and the Scarborough Sharks, well, they really, really need a win to secure that spot. If not, door will be wide open for the Alliance boys, who will be watching this game with a lot of interest.
Yeah, and obviously they play at 8:45 p.m, so if somehow this game does end up in a draw, well, it'll really set up a grand finale. Alliance knowing that if they do get a win, the finals spot will be theirs. As it stands, the last place in the top 4 is in the hands of the Scarborough Sharks, and we'll have a timeout, but I believe... So it is a timeout after a bit of deliberation.
So while we've got the timeout, we'll have a quick look at the league table so you guys can really get a grasp on things. So if you're having a look here, the Northern Hawks and the West Coast Cobras, who both play tomorrow, will be fighting for that league title tomorrow. But right now it's all about 4th, 5th, even 6th, and you can see 3rd as well. So having a look here. So if the Scarborough Sharks win, they'll overtake the Phoenix Futsal Club, and then the Phoenix will have to get a result to overtake them and go back into that 3rd spot. On the other hand, we've got Scarborough Sharks and FutScarbs who are playing this game. The FutScarbs will need the win or their campaign's over. A draw, like John said earlier, will leave the door wide open for Alliance. If they win, just because they've got a much better goal difference than both teams, they'll overtake. So, I mean, a lot of interesting things that can happen tonight. So definitely stay tuned for the game at 8:45 as well, which is between Phoenix Futsal Club and Alliance. I can see Ali Milham's in the crowd at the moment. He's watching this game with a lot of interest. Obviously, the Phoenix have secured their spot, but they just want to know if they'll be coming 2nd or 3rd. Sorry, 3rd or 4th. 1st and 2nd is already secured from the West Coast Cobras and the Northern Hawks. And back live, Duna goes down the line. A fast start there from the FutScarbs after their spot. Nolan. Rowson switches the play there to De Oliveira, who's just come back on. He's got a fresh cut for the occasion. Nolan, who needs a fresh cut. De Oliveira. There we go, some more skills. Rowson. Noticing that Spirin and Endich isn't actually here tonight, which is a big out for them. It's just dawned upon me. De Oliveira, we'll get back to that one in a second. De Oliveira gives it back to Ingragia. Nolan brings it forward. De Oliveira. Well tackled there by Ajima. So the Scarborough Sharks have come into it, I'd say, a little bit now, John.
Yeah, after that timeout, they look like they're playing with a bit more intent, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, it's something you'd expect because I think 6 of their players didn't actually play last week, and you know, those pre-match nerves and that bit of rust does take a while to get dusted off, but you know, they've been in the game for 15 minutes now, and they know that they are in the driving seat. A draw does favour them, but that could all change here.
Well defended there by Rowson.
Yeah, Deco with a good turn, but Rowson with him every step of the way. And so Yima looking for the back post. It's fallen to Anderson, and it's an open goal, but just trickling behind. That was a good chance there. It just didn't fall for Kenneth Anderson the way you would have liked. Deco. And I think that might be another timeout. So
yeah, obviously that last timeout that was about a minute and a half ago wasn't enough for Scarborough Sharks. They want to go again. So as you can see here, we've got the revolving droid cam. So you can see the FutScarbs getting a little bit. Getting up close and personal. There we go. That's a bit of a better angle that you can see on top. So you can see there, FutScarbs, they've got a very big team. So you would expect them, as this game goes on, they're the one that keep the legs. Obviously, as you mentioned, Scarborough have got a few rusty players. Obviously, I think as the game wears on for them, they're going to be a little bit, well, you'd say they'd get tired, especially the Ustasian brothers, who have just flown back from Europe, I think, midweek. So the jet lag might start to take its toll.
yeah, and the longer the game stays 0-0, or at least as a draw, the more likely that FutScarbs will be to start pressing. We saw it a little bit after that timeout when a bad touch from one of the Sharks players was tried to have taken advantage of with the FutScarbs coming out of their shell a little bit. They've dropped back down for the halfway defense now, but you can see that, you know, it's man-on-man and it is pretty tight. All the players are on their toes and they're all being marshaled very tightly.
Well, they are, I'd arguably say they're the most disciplined team in the competition, the FutScarbs. They do stick to their game plan pretty much no matter what the result is and rely on individual brilliance to win them games, as such of Ken Anderson. Nolan off the right. Oh, that one just over. It's a good connection from Nolan. They'll want more of that to come. Bissan rolls it out to Andre Duna, who's actually been absent, I think, for a few weeks as well, so maybe he'll either be fresh or rusty. You take your pick. Duna. Kenneth Anderson, beautiful skill. Oh, good save there by Ingragia. And one thing we've got to note is that the Scarborough Sharks will switch their goalkeeper at half-time. Will the FutScarbs?
Yeah, that's a big question, and I'd say if both sides do, it's something you can look to take advantage on early in the half. When the keepers aren't warmed up, they can always be more prone to making that early mistake. So that's why I personally have never really done it, but I guess if you've got two decent keepers running game time, sometimes you're not left with much of a choice. The question for FutScarbs is, will it be Daniel Barras or Alex Fezzoa? My tip would be Alex Fezzoa, as Barras is doing a lot of the coaching, and that's the penalty.
Yeah.
It was inside the box, I think, but it's been called outside, so it'll be a free kick.
It hasn't. I think he's called penalty 100%.
Called a penalty, so Flynn Nolan was brought down there by Kaio Oyema, and the Scarborough Sharks will go to the spot. Daniel Barras, as we were mentioning earlier, saying he wouldn't come on, is coming on especially for the penalty. And I think one thing's worth a mention, he is great at reading the direction of these kind of shots, and he's an expert when it comes to them. I remember one semi-final a couple of years ago, we lost to Brozzy, who are now FutScarbs in penalties, and Barras made 3 out of 3 saves. But can Nolan open the scoring for Sharks? He does! Puts it in the top corner.
It was a great finish.
The Sharks are in the driving seat.
Yeah, great finish by Flynn Nolan. Didn't ever really feel that one was in doubt, but I think FutScarbs can't let this get down. I mean, 100% it was a penalty. It was a bit of a stupid tackle, but there's still plenty of life left in this game. Obviously, we've still got over a half to play, so FutScarbs can't lose their head and stay disciplined, as we were crediting them how good their discipline has been. It was a good double team. It was a bit late from De Oliveira. Jima's touch letting him down. Duna giving almost a war cry as he runs off the court.
Yeah, still plenty of time left in this one. The FutScarbs won't want to panic just yet. Obviously, the Sharks will be the hot favourites to take it out now. As we were mentioning earlier, a draw may well be enough, so they've got a buffer of some sort at least. Resende back to Oyema, who is trying to make amends for the penalty, but couldn't get his touch right on that occasion. It's Josh Chevelle at the back now for the Sharks. Gives it to Ustazen. That goal potentially coming a bit against the run of play. I think FutScarbs have had the better chances. Ingraja has actually played very well, who didn't feature last week, but he's made some stops that have kept his side in the game so far this week. This is towed forward by Resende. One back by Chevelle, who stays in, looking to thread it through to De Oliveira. Last touch was off FutScarbs, and the Sharks will get a sideline ball. De Oliveira in the centre, off the right. Stazen's shot was blocked. Now Resende trying to bring it up the other end. Kenneth Anderson, he's the man they want on the ball. Back to Resende. Gets beyond Stazen, and he was brought down, so the FutScarbs will have a free kick with 1:46 left to go. And perhaps a chance to work Jigga Ingraja and get themselves on the board just before halftime. It's Resende standing over it. Victor Armani in the centre.
Resende. A bit of a anticlimax there from the free kick. Thought they might go for a shot. They've tried to work it. They have. They're still there. And absolutely no one was pressing him. Ingraja with the quick throw. It's possibly too quick. He's giving it straight to Deco. Deco inside. And blasts off the left foot there. Nothing doing on this occasion. If stays in, it's good to see him back at the back. Makes the Sharks look like a much more cohesive unit. Deco trying to slip one through a gap there. Deco gives it to Kenneth Anderson. Oh, he beats Miguel De Oliveira, and that's a great goal. Ingraja will be disappointed. He should have probably done better. But Kenneth Anderson, he can just get past you so easily. Look at him there, Kenneth Anderson. It's the shimmy onto the right. And Ingraja, it was almost too close to his body. He couldn't react. And that's 1-1, and this poises that game beautifully going into the second half.
Yeah, goal for FutScarbs is exactly what the game needed. The table will be the same as it was coming into the match, so advantage still the way of the Scarborough Sharks, but FutScarbs may very well be in the driving seat with some momentum. Resende heads over. Nolan, can he muster up another piece of brilliance? Gives it to Josh Chevelle in the centre.
What a ball! What a ball! What a save!
And Boston
goes through Barris's legs. Oh, Bergvist's legs. It's a corner ball. They're going to get on with it. Goes through to Chevelle, and he pulls something he can. He goes past. Good block by Resende, and now FutScarbs are going the other way. Who stays and mops up at the back. But you can see this game just end to end. Tom Claver having a word with a spectator on the side. Not sure what that was about, but we'll continue. Resende gives it to Ferreira. Ferreira looking up one-on-one with Nolan. Resende goes to the back where he feels also comfortable. Controls the game so often for the FutScarbs boys. Ferreira goes inside to Mateus. And it's fallen to him. I think they probably would have wanted the advantage, but it's a free kick's gone their way. 25 seconds remaining. Can they make something work from this? So it's Figueiredo standing over the free kick here, the number 18. It's only his third game of the season. Figueroa, oh, good block there from Bergqvist. And here we go. Chevelle Resende picks his pocket. It's a 3v2 if they can make it work. Ferreira, too much on the pass there. That's a letdown. And Nolan gives it the other way, so mistakes from both sides. Ferreira, Figueiredo, good block. Who stays in? Gives it to Bissan. Bissan, Mateus. One-on-one with Bergqvist. 8 seconds. Ingracia gets it at the second attempt. A long throw, and advantage should have been given there from Clavers. He'd given him a red card, but he thought he'd already given him yellow. He hasn't. Mistaken identity there.
Moment.
Mistaken identity.
He's probably got dementia, but nonetheless, FutScarbs kind of getting away with one there, because in typical Tom Claver fashion, you'd realise you didn't actually give the yellow and then change it to a red, so it makes sense.
Oh, what a save that was from Bissan. The last second of the game. Bissan, what a save, and it's half time. It's half time. They're still playing. The passion in this game is unreal.
Yeah, what an ending to the half that was.
I don't think we want to go to an ad break. We'll keep the momentum flowing.
We'll have a look at the live ladder now. Just to see where things stand.
Both benches having a quick laugh there. So this is the updated live ladder. John will run through it again.
So Scarborough Sharks currently hold 4th position. FutScarbs in 5th. If it ends like this, the Sharks will potentially secure a finals berth, depending on the result between Alliance and Phoenix Futsal WA, and it will be the end for FutScarbs. But obviously, for the Scarborough Sharks, you'd want to make sure you remove any doubt and secure a win. For FutScarbs, they'll be looking to do the same. But remember, if FutScarbs do win, whilst there's a 99.9% chance they will secure the final spot. If Alliance somehow beat Phoenix by, I think it's 14 goals, then they could overtake him. And whilst that might seem highly unlikely and almost inconceivable, I do recall the FutScarbs having a 13-0 win against Longobardo a few weeks ago, which if you had told me coming into that match, I would have said would have never happened.
And if we want to run it back 4 years ago, I actually have a very vivid memory of Brozzy, as they were once known, beating Phoenix 22-0 in a Supa-Liga B game.
22-0. I do remember that, but I think they had only 4 players. So
I don't think with Ali Milham and the boys playing that will happen, but you never know. Anything can happen.
It adds to the narrative, but yeah, I think Ali Milham would feel disrespected by us even suggesting it. Obviously, the reigning league MVP and Golden Boot winner, who's set to do it for a second time this season. And Phoenix also boasted by the likes of Maysam Kanani, Bakazai, Omid Ashrakian, who are very good. It's not to say Alliance can't win, but you'd expect a very tight matchup. So the only realistic chance for Alliance would be if this game ends in a draw, but you never know. It's a draw at the moment.
I mean, you can see a draw happening. What do you think's going to happen for the second half, John?
It's too close to call. I mean, judging on the first half, you think FutScarbs rather have probably been the better side but you saw at the end there, Sharks getting the penalty, and he stays in with a shot in the last second that was expertly saved by Bissan, so that definitely can't be ruled out. A draw is a definite possibility, if I'm being honest. 2-2, 3-3. This game's going head-to-head, end-to-end, so if that does happen, then the onus will fall on Alliance to get the win, and it'll be a nervous wait for the Scarborough Sharks, to say the least. It's Chevelle to Rousen. De Oliveira trying to go one-on-one. Cuts inside, shot blocked. Now Araujo bursting forward up the other end. Ferreira, missed touch and is behind. So interestingly enough, Brozzi, with two other keepers on the bench, decided not to make the switch, whereas the Scarborough Sharks did. Maybe a bit harsh on Jigga Ingragio, who had a pretty good first half, but now it will be on Ethan Hardy to prove his worth. That throw getting through the middle way too easily. Now it's a 2-on-1. But Russo getting back with all his pace and puts that one into touch. A corner now for FutScarbs. Here's Duna. Ferreira trying to find the centre. No one home. Chevelle playing De Oliveira down the line. Looking to get beyond Araujo. Throws the needle to Ralston. Chevelle placed over the bar.
Maybe a Josh Chevelle that's been playing all season finishes that one off, but I don't think we can hold it against him. He's been away for quite a lot of this season, so he's probably another one who's a little bit rusty. But so we've noticed that FutScarbs haven't changed their goalkeeper. Bissan has stayed in, and why not? He had an exceptional first half, even making a save with about a second remaining. And on the other hand, Ethan Hardy's checked in for Jigga Ingragio. So we'll see how this second half plays out. Ralston off the right. Ash Ralston pass that one into Wagner Arejo. Ralston chips into De Oliveira. That's a great first touch from De Oliveira. Thought he turned Duna. Maybe he hadn't. Goes past Duna this time though, and off the left. What a goal! Miguel De Oliveira off the left. That was an exceptional finish from Miguel De Oliveira. I think goal of the week contender for sure. He just skipped past left. Andre Duna for dead and off the left. I don't think many keepers in the league are saving that one.
Well, it was the goal they needed from the man they wanted, Miguel De Oliveira. Pulling something like that out in a match of this significance is honestly quite amazing. He's got 10 goals in the league this season now, but that one will be his proudest one yet for sure. Carvalho looking to find an instant response, but here's De Oliveira again, a couple to beat. Carvalho gets back well.
That was a great tackle there from Mateus Carvalho.
And now Chevelle looking centre to Russo. Trying to swing it onto the left. Duna breaks forward. Araujo. Duna makes a run. Russo's forgot to track him. If the ball was a little bit better, the FutScarbs could have been in. De Oliveira doing it up both ends. And now here's Araujo in the centre. Duna trying to find a bit of space. Hardy picks it up. De Oliveira to Ralston. And Ralston, a customary long ball and not one of his best. That one claimed easily by Bissan as Oyema, the culprit of the foul for the penalty, comes back on. Araujo inside Oyema, lays it back off to Araujo. Trying to beat Russo, good challenge. And now here's Halil Russo. De Oliveira to the left. Russo almost manages to keep it in, but it's a side ball in the end.
Yeah, so the Scarborough Sharks have definitely come out firing in this second half. That's a beautiful back roll from Chevelle. It's nicely worked. Good block there from De Oliveira. No look pass, probably not necessary. Ralston down the line to Chevelle. Go one-on-one with Arejo. Off the left, Chevelle. Oh. Bissan just grabbed that one out the ground, and Ash Ralston out of nowhere. Well done there from Ralston, but Ajima defends just as well. Ralston receives there from Russo. Flynn Nolan's back on. I imagine he'll almost play every minute of the second half from now. Here he is on the ball here, the number 8. Straight into Mateus. Ralston's there luckily. And it's fallen through to De Oliveira. One-on-one with Ajima. And a tackle. That was a foul. And Ajima does need to be careful. Tom Claver thought he'd already sent him off. We've got to make sure he doesn't actually get sent off.
I guess looking back on it, maybe I was a bit harsh on Tom Claver with my call of dementia.
Yeah, probably.
Whoa, what a goal! Ash Ralston does the impossible and puts the Scarborough Sharks in the driving seat with 1.5 foot in the top 4. But as I was mentioning earlier, I think Tom Claver probably thought he sent a Yema off because he thought Taz Paraskevas might have given him a yellow.
Oh, you're not getting out of this one now, mate. You said he's got dementia. Ferreira, Ajima. So as John was saying, the Scarborough Sharks have got 1.5 feet into the finals. They just need to see out this. They've got 15 minutes to hold on. And FutScarbs need to score 3 if they're to be playing next week. Mateus, he'll want to be playing. He's a finals player. Magno Arejo, and it falls through for a goalkeeper's ball. Ethan Hardy rolls out. Scarborough Sharks just looking like they've grown into this game more and more. What a ball that is. Russo. Oh, Ferreira was there. Last ditch. And Russo, that's
rash from Russo. He's got to be careful. You don't need to make challenges like that, especially when your side's 3-1 up. And here comes to the bench. It's Brandon who stays in, checking back on. But it really is the Sharks' game to lose now. They would have to concede 3 goals on the bounce and lose the game 4-3 to completely rule their finals hopes out. Even if they concede twice and the game ends in a 3-3 draw, there'd probably be a 70%, 80% chance that they'll still make the finals, as Phoenix are definitely the hot favourites in the game against Alliance, and they haven't lost in, I think it's 6 matches on the run. So they've been in good form, and the Sharks will be very happy to know that is the case, but obviously they won't want to let it get to that. They want to see this game out, and who stays in? Playing to his brother Matt Carvalho, who's been good all season, probably the second best player in the FutScarbs squad behind Anderson. Can he stand up when it matters most? Not quite. And Mattu stays in to take the resulting sideline ball. 14 minutes left on the clock as it keeps on ticking down. Who stays in? Not in any hurry.
I've noticed that the Brozzy boys have got the FutScarbs boys have got the 5th man shirt, which actually is a Brozzy shirt. So it looks like they'll be playing the 5th man very soon. Nolan, Mattu stays in, well blocked there from Kenan Anderson. The only FutScarbs player to get a player of the round win. So they want the big players to step up. Him and Carvalho, the 2 big boys. Ethan Hardy, he's looked very assured since he's came on.
That was a big chance for Anderson. If he gets it beyond Hardy there, then it's back to being game on. At the moment, the Sharks are just going to probably try hold possession. They're not in any rush, as we mentioned earlier. Nolan. Back across it to Ustazen. Out to De Oliveira. Around the corner. Lovely play, but the pass was mishit by Ustazen. Araujo trying to thread it through to Anderson, who couldn't get there. And Matthew stays in, checking off to the bench, but it's another timeout. So we'll have a look at the live ladder now, as things have definitely changed since half-time.
So there we go. You can see that the Scarborough Sharks have now taken back over the Phoenix Futsal Club and gone into 3rd place on 19 points. So the Phoenix boys will be watching this game with interest as well, maybe realizing that their season's not quite finished just yet. Obviously, we were saying how important a win is for either of these sides, but Scarborough Sharks, if they come 3rd, they'll probably be versing the West Coast Cobras next week in a semi-final, like John said, for the first time in 4 seasons. FutScarbs did play finals, futsal as Brozzy, I think, 2 seasons ago. So both teams haven't played finals in very recent memory. Phoenix, who are the other ones, haven't played finals as long as I can remember. I think probably 3 or 4 seasons as well. So there'll be another team. Obviously, they've already confirmed their spot, Phoenix, but they'll want to make it as easy as they can, and they won't want to verse the league winners if they come 4th. So back live now. So I didn't think Rosende was going to come on with that 5th man shirt for the FutScarbs boys, but he's stayed on the bench for now. I think it's maybe because it's a Sharks ball. Nolan Duna marshalled him. If they can work this, they've got a 3v1. They've given it away. Chevelle, because what a ball that is to Brendan Ustazen, to Nolan, and Ustazen slipped. Nolan was saying probably 30 seconds before that the floor was wet exactly there.
Stop it.
Yeah, stopped.
Georgia, keep grabbing the towel. Turn the time on.
So time stopped as the pitch has gone wet, or the court I should say. That was due to Flynn Nolan's protest and then a brand new season slip. So 12 minutes 18 remaining. The ball is all in Scarborough's court to make finals. I can see Tom Lynch on the live stream watching with eagle eyes, as he'll be back next week for the semi-final showdown if they are to make it. Rosende gives it away with the fifth man. That was a good tackle there from Carvalho to Kenneth Anderson off the right, back post, and it's gone in! Deco forced it over the line for Brandon Ustazen. Not much he could do there. He did exceptionally well to even prevent it going in from the first instance. We see there Kenneth Anderson off the right. It went to the back post. Ustazen did so well, but Deco just forced it over the line. That's Deco Armani. So 3-2. And FutScarb's interest is right back on this game. Flynn Nolan, he won't want to let it slip. He's giving it away there. Mateus Carvalho one-on-one with Ustazen. Oh, what a save that is from Hardy! It's gone in! It's gone in! It's gone in!
And FutScarbs are right back in it within a minute. And now it's looking like the Sharks, who are in the driving seat only moments ago, could potentially slip out of finals.
And it did go in. That was a great call from Tom Claver, because I thought that
I saw that clearly. I saw that clearly, Luke. It was on the inside post, and Sharks, who looked to have it in the back only moments ago, it might not be so certain. Kenneth Anderson setting up the first one, and if anyone is going to win the game for FutScarbs, it's going to be him. He's been the best player all season. He's been the funnel everything's gone through. And Rosende, who had the fifth man shirt on only moments ago, can rip it right back off and get his playing kit on. Because while the FutScarbs aren't necessarily in the better position yet, momentum's definitely in their favour.
And as we're looking at the live ladder now, the Scarborough Sharks have now dropped back to fourth with that 2 points they've just lost. So 11 minutes remaining. This game really could go either way. And John was saying that a draw was unlikely but not inconceivable, but now a draw is right back on the cards. Andre Duna, Deco, who's going to step up and be the hero for either of these teams? Could it be this man, Kenneth Anderson? He's been so good all season. Or will it be the man retrieving the ball now, Miguel de Oliveira, who hasn't just been great this game, he's been so consistent for the Scarborough boys.
Well, I'm calling it, if FutScarbs do win today, it's going to come from or through Kenneth Anderson. He is the man everybody's watching. A goal and an assist so far. And here he is again. One-on-one with de Oliveira. Gets beyond him. Anderson looks for the back post. Deco made the run too early. But the momentum has switched full circle in the favour of FutScarbs. De Oliveira, a much-needed rest. Daniel Bergqvist back on for some height.
Yeah, Bergqvist brings the target option, but interestingly enough, he's actually sitting on the left flank at the moment. I see him just pass the ball to Ustazen. Chevelle. Just Chevelle looks up. Goes through the middle. That was, nothing's been given. I thought that was a foul.
That looked like a foul to me.
And it's only been given as a side ball.
Or has Tom Claver given it?
He hasn't. He's just said head injury. Clock has been stopped. And who is that on the ground?
It's Figueiredo.
Figueiredo. That man bun can't protect him. Hopefully he's
lucky,
okay.
Lucky to not give one away there. I thought there was a hold on, it looked like Flynn Nolan to me, but one of them was definitely holding the other. There should have been a foul called, at least in one direction. Sometimes it's hard to see from a referee's perspective as to who's actually holding.
Play on, just play on.
So play on's been the call, but the play's been stopped for Figueiredo to get walked off the court. It's going to be Mateus Carvalho back on, the man who's averaging a goal a game this season. a goal a game this season. I almost disrespected him there quite badly, but he hasn't found the back of the net today yet. Could it be now? Carvalho can't
scored the last goal.
Get around it. Oh, he did score the last goal, my bad. So can he bump up that average to 1.11? I'm having a dimension moment just like Tom Claver did earlier.
Here's Nolan. Hardy. Nolan, he's being double teamed. He somehow squeezed it through. Bergqvist went to the near post, not the back, and no one was there to tap it home. But I'd say Scarborough Sharks are going to end up rolling this dice.
Deco in the centre. Oh, yeah, my ball a bit short. Deco trying to find a way through, under pressure.
Deco doing so well there, but Chevelle marshalling him just as well. Armini. So the FutScarbs, obviously, they still need this result to go through, but they've got all the momentum.
Oh, that's wasted there from Deco, not one of his finer passes. Remember, the ball is still in the Scarborough Sharks court at the moment. A draw won't suffice for FutScarbs. It may not suffice for Sharks either, but they certainly be more happy to get one, as Deco on the left has got Bergqvist to beat. Now here's Resende. Back to Deco. Resende once again tries to squeeze the ball out to Oyema. Not going to go for that one. Allows it to trickle over. Chevelle. Early ball looking for Ustazen. Resende. Oyema. Down the line looking for Deco. What can he do here? Holds the attack and slows play down a bit, but the FutScarbs don't have any time to waste. They need another goal. Carvalho, can he turn? Nice feed, trying to cut onto the left.
What a save,
Hardy.
Hardy.
Big save, and now maybe the Sharks up the other end. Chevelle, it's a 3-on-2. Trying to find the back post, takes a deflection. Bassan will claim it. That's Pizzola rather, that will claim it.
It's a 2v2. It's now a 3v2. Ojima, Resende, Deco, save! Ojima blasted over the bar.
That was a golden opportunity for FutScarbs, one they needed to take. But Hardy, he's done well in the last minute or so. 2 vital stops. He's been brave and he's bailed the Sharks out of jail a couple of times now. Couple of momentum switches in this match so far. It looks like the momentum favours the Brazilians in light blue at the moment. Can a goal from Halil Russo or Flynn Nolan change it? Anderson on, the danger man.
And there's big game players all over this court at the moment. That's a great throw from the goalkeeper. Gives it to Kenneth Anderson. He turns Nolan and cuts in the double team, but he's still got the ball somehow. Gives it back to Fernando Resende. He's slowing down the play a little bit. Good to see Kenneth Anderson one-on-one with Nolan. Kenneth Anderson, such a tricky customer. But Halil Russo having none of it. And it's a timeout from the FutScarbs boys.
We'll get that live ladder up now. See where things stand.
You can see here, it's all changed again. The FutScarbs still sitting in that 5th spot as they have been since the start of play. But it's getting very, very close. That goal difference from FutScarbs is just so good that it will... Well, it's going to favour them if they can get this win. So I can hear Rowson letting the boys know they need to try harder. Probably not a bad idea from Rowson.
Well, since Rowson's gone off, it's all kind of gone to crap for Scarborough Sharks. He got that free kick from near on the halfway line. And since he's been off the last 5 minutes or so, they've conceded 2 on the bounce. So, you know, maybe the number 23 can be the difference. As I mentioned earlier for FutScarbs, it's going to be Kenneth Anderson. If it will be anybody, he's looked lively all afternoon and all season. And you'd see a 5th man shirt come out in the next couple of minutes for FutScarbs if the score doesn't change. Anderson cutting in onto the left. Can't get beyond Hardy. In fact, it didn't take a touch. Hardy seeing it into the side netting. It's Rowson trying to find an option forward of the ball. Looks for Nolan. It's not a bad pass. Fallen to De Oliveira. Can he finish? The angle's too tight now. Trying to squeeze it out to Russo. Now with 2-on-1. But Russo gets back well. Rowson not taking any risks. Puts it into touch with 6 minutes left on the clock. Anderson, the maestro Brazilian. Resende. Back to Anderson. Trying to return the ball to Fernando Resende, but not on that occasion. A rare loose pass. Hardy. Nolan. Now the question now is, Luke, do Sharks settle for a draw if they can and hope Alliance don't win? Or do they go for it? What are you going to do in your
I think you've got to go for it. I'm all about attacking futsal, and I think you've got to go for it. I do think there's another goal in this. I think there will be a winner. It won't be a draw. There's too much on the line for both teams. And I don't think FutScarbs will let Scarborough settle for the draw either. Kenneth Anderson, as we say! Kenneth Anderson chips Ethan Hardy, and the FutScarbs have turned it around. That's 4-3, and it's all It's all going wrong for Scarborough Sharks.
Well, we said if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be Anderson, and he's on the money once again. It looked to be in the bag only about 10 minutes ago, but now it's all gone wrong. And the Scarborough Sharks need at least a goal, if not two, to get themselves back in the top four. It's Rowson, scorer of the third, but he's not happy. De Oliveira looks like his head's dropped a little bit, can't get his touch right. And now the FutScarbs are just going to try and slow the game down. They're in no rush. The Sharks have to start getting that fifth man shirt out now. Resende in the centre. Araujo. Nolan. Rowson. De Oliveira.
I mean, what's interesting to note is since the ball was first kicked for Scarborough this season, they've been in the top four. And it would be so cruel to drop out on this last game of the season. And on the other hand, FutScarbs spent 1 week in the top four, and it looks like they're going to pip them at the final hurdle.
Well, to give you guys some context, I only left for Italy, I think 3 weeks ago, and Sharks were in contention for 2 weeks ago, and Sharks were in contention for the league only then. Now it's all gone wrong. If it is another loss, it'll be 4 on the bounce after staying unbeaten for 6 games, and it looks like they could miss out on finals. Russo was here brought down. Referee says yes.
Who's going to take this one? They've got Nolan, they've got Rowson, they've got De Oliveira. Controversial, looks like Rowson's stepping back from this one. De Oliveira wants it. They need to get some players on the goalkeeper. They can't all just be standing off. It looks like they're moving forward now. Rowson pushing the boys up. Let's have a look. They've obviously already scored 1, but they have changed the goalkeeper since. 3 minutes 50 remaining. Miguel De Oliveira steps over it. Oh, it was so close.
Good hit there, good hit. The Scarves look to go up the other end quickly. A pinpoint throw, but it just couldn't stay in there for Leo Ferreira.
Ethan Hardy, are they going to get the fifth man going, the Scarborough Sharks? I think they need to. De Oliveira gives it wide to Russo. Russo off the left. Neto kicks it into the camera. Tim Zeba next to me is just checking we're all still working, we're still going. Russo is going to lay it off for Rowson. Rowson off the right. Oh, and the deflection takes it. But I really think they've got to get going with the fifth man play, Horejo. Let's have a look here. Rowson back to Nolan, back to De Oliveira. De Oliveira, I think they've got to get either Chevelle or Brandon Ustazen back on.
They've got to go fifth man. They can't go down like this.
No, they
It'll
can't.
be a waste of a whole season. If they go down 4-3, they're better off going down 6-3 and risking it to try and get at least a draw. And remember, the FutScarbs need a win to survive, so all the Scarborough Sharks need is a goal to put them well within a chance.
You'd say
Russo will look to light it up off the left. Off to Rowson instead. Can hear fire from range. Shots like that aren't going to cut it.
Yeah, you would definitely say a draw probably favours them and puts them in the finals. Well, probably puts them in fourth and probably skews them finals because you can't see Alliance beating Phoenix. And he stays. And why was no one at the back post?
Yeah, Russo hesitated in making that back post run. And we're on the cusp of stop clock territory now. 55 live viewers tuned in. Thank you for all your support. Is there one last goal in store? Russo shot deflected. Who stays in? Who can step up when it matters most? Who can be the hero? Nolan!
The deflection.
Deflection and off the post, I think.
They've gone the fifth man now. They've gone the fifth man. Tom Lynch's cries have been answered. Chevelle to Ustazen. They need to figure out who's playing where. Ustazen goes to the back. Gives it wide to Josh Chevelle. They need to move the ball fast here. One-touch players. This is going to really count. Hello Russo. Back to Ustazen. Back to Chevelle. Off the right. It's fallen. Resende can finish it. His shot's gone wide.
That missed by an inch there, Fernando Resende. It would have been the goal that would seal the victory and seal Alliance's place in the top four. Ustazen, he's got no time to play. They've got to get it moving on quickly. Chevelle, Russo, Ustazen, Chevelle. Is there one last goal left to save the Sharks season? Back post, Russo! Shot blocked, but it still stayed alive. Russo squeezes it out to Easthuizen, who's got pressure on coming. Hardy now, got to be good with his feet. Got to be careful. Chevelle, good ball to Easthuizen. Heavy touch though, but it stayed alive here. Trying to get the toe in. Is that a penalty? Referee says no, and now it's an empty net if FutScarbs can find it. Great challenge, Easthuizen, and Neto, that's going to be a yellow card. Clock stops with 47 seconds left. Wow, Luke, what a finish we're having. Surely there's one last goal in store for the Sharks to give us a crazy ending.
Will Russo's left foot save the Scarborough Sharks season?
He's too far out, they've just got to keep the ball. I wouldn't waste a shot from this kind of distance.
I think they're going to go for the shot. I have a feeling Halil Neto does not look 5 away. Russo off the left, and that was never troubling anybody.
They've got to press now, the Sharks. They've got to give it everything. Leave everything on the field. They can't afford to drop back. Russo wants it. He's stepping up high. Just going to go along there, Anderson. But it's given away. The goal's open. A penalty! The referee has given a penalty at the death. And it's a yellow card for Pizzola. And the Scarborough Sharks with a chance to level and send themselves all the way to the Supa-Liga semi-finals.
All the way. A great call, I'd say, from Taz Paraskevas.
Well, it's harsh, but I think it's the right call. I'm having flashbacks to Watford versus Leicester about 8 years ago in the Championship playoff semi-final. But on that day, referee Michael Oliver fell for a dive. I think John Claver and Taz Paraskevas has got it right this time. Nolan was brought down inside the box. And now, the man who finished the top goal scorer for WA at AFA Nationals has a chance to fire his side into the semi-finals. Daniel Barros, can he stand up and make the save? And the whole stadium is silent. Glenn Nolan, can he finish? He does! And it's game on again for the Scarborough Sharks. It's commisery for the FutScarbs, who have got to get the fifth man on immediately.
I think Scarborough just got to keep pressing. Let's see if they can press them out the game. And a bit of confusion. Ton Claver. Is there more controversy to come? Gives him the yellow. Not sure what that one's for.
There's like 4 players on a yellow now for FutScarbs. Will we see a late red card? Oyema doing it.
Resende's got to get up.
Yeah, Resende's got to get up. I don't know what he's doing. 30 seconds left now. Oyema, Resende. Is there one final twist in the tail? Duna. Carvalho. Duna. Resende. So much urgency in the FutScarbs. I've got to get one final shot off. Duna. Resende. Ball controlled by Anderson, but he can only fire into the side netting. Hardy wants to get it moving on quickly. Is it going to be 4 seconds? Not quite. Nolan, one back by Resende. Anderson to win the game. I don't with the very last kick of this Supa-Liga round 11 matchup has won the game for FutScarbs and sent them into the finals.
He's just sent Halil Neto's just been set off as well.
What doesn't matter? I don't think Sharks are going to have enough time to respond. And he ran off the bench, so I think they'll still get to play the game out with 5
a bit of a harsh red card. I mean, the whole team ran on the bench. You can't just pick one player.
Yeah, you can't blame him. So much on the line, so much passion between the two sides, and Sharks look to have it in the back only moments ago, but the FutScarbs are back in the lead once again, and I don't think there's enough time to respond, Luke.
I don't think it is. I think that's all she wrote for the Scarborough Sharks this season. As we were saying, they spent the whole season in the top 4 and they've let it slip in the last 8 seconds. They've got to get one shot off. Chevelle goes long, goes to the goalkeeper, and that is going to be that. And there we go. Hardy had a chance, and that's the finals. The FutScarbs, they haven't, or have they made it? They've made it, the FutScarbs. They finished 4th. They're over the moon, as you can see. They're going to be playing against the Northern Hawks or the West Coast Cobras next week in the semi-finals. But what a game of futsal that was. We've got the...
I don't think we could have asked for a better matchup than that.
I don't think we could have. Have a quick look at the live ladder
today, and it'll lift up to every
as you see,
expectation.
FutScarbs, who spent one round in the finals all season, have actually kept the Scarborough Sharks and come fourth. What a time to peak. And the Scarborough Sharks, it's commiserations for their season. That's all she wrote. Stay with us. We'll be back live. We'll be back live in the next 10 minutes for the first women's semi-final between the Northern Hawks and the West Coast Cobras.